What's going on, guys and gals? Troy here, CheFPV, ATXRC Productions, all that stuff. Drone, multi-rooter tips, trips, reviews, unboxings, all that stuff, man. I got some great content hopefully coming to you real soon. Just so everybody knows, I am no longer a restaurant manager. I am in the drone scene, in the industry, working with a company, bringing out an amazing product here coming pretty soon. 500below.com. Go check it out. But we're not here talking about that. This actually is a very impromptu, but on my list of videos to eventually do, but we're just going to knock it out now because I'm actually in the middle of working, but I also technically have my voodoo guts torn apart. And on a quick little break there's the voodoo there. I smashed up another top plate. I was looking, a little break for lunch. I was looking at a post, and this keeps coming up. So the E-Sheen 250 Falcon, ER Racer, whatever you want to call it, and many other ready-to-fly budget value copters are kind of coming out. Now, my first thing, value or budget ready-to-fly copters are great for one thing and one thing only. Getting in with a quick package that allows you to get in, learn if it's something you really want to do, and then decide if you want to grow into the hobby or not. If you don't, well, then you could get an ER kind of like full ready to rate, like already package for like $300 basically with a monitor. And I think they even do it with a goggle setup now. And it's a great little starter pack for a starter pack. If you already know that you're probably going to go to another level with this, do not get the ready to fly pack. Get just the copter. Get a value copter, but go get a decent radio. A Devo system is okay. A Spectrum DX6 is probably better. And I personally would recommend a Tyrannus. Get a good radio. Do not get a package with a cheap radio. You're wasting money. You're throwing money out the door because cheap radios like FlySky and all the other little, Radio Link and all that, they're not as good as a Tyrannus. A Tyrannus is going to be on the level of the higher competition like JR, Futaba, Range, all that's going to be great. More importantly, their receivers are cheap. They're like $25 for a brand new S-Bus receiver that's small. So you can't beat it. Get a good radio. Personally, I would recommend good goggles. Do look at resolution. If the resolution is below 480, it's crap. If it's above 480, it's great. 480 is technically feasible. Do not waste your money by getting cheap stuff that you're going to have to replace. You're going to spend more money in the end. Not going to harp on it. I'm trying to make this quick. Number 2, if you get an ER 250, a Falcon 250, or any of these budget sub $200 copters, and even some of the more expensive ones, which personally I would shy away from, if it's not a Vortex or a Vendetta and it's ready to fly, go with the E-Sheen. If it's not that, but know when you get the E-Sheen, it is a basic beginner craft. The motors and the ESCs can be used anywhere. The flight controller is a cloned kind of specialized version of the CC3D. I've heard some other ones come with the full version. Maybe so. But I wouldn't count on the flight controller, the PDB, or anything else to do anything other than learn to fly the thing. Learn to fly it and start thinking forward. If you crash it and break an arm, I personally would start looking at buying a couple of arms for $4 or $5. That's a good idea. But I would start looking at the next build that I'm going to do. What can I use? Motors on an E-Sheen are E-Max 2204 motor, 2300 kV motors. They say E-Sheen, but they're great. I've seen guys trying to replace them with RCX timer motors. Basically the same quality and the same standard of motor. I ran E-Max 2204s on high-end copter frames for a while I was busting up motors learning how to fly. They're great. They work fine. They're cheaply replaceable, and there's not anything motor-wise that's going to make you a better pilot as an inexperienced user. This is the key. Changing ESCs, changing firmware, messing with the flight controllers, swapping flight controllers. None of this is going to make you a better pilot, guys. Get in, start learning acro. Just get in and learn acro. Don't even put it in horizon mode, man. You're going to fight yourself. You're going to teach yourself stuff that you think you know and how to fly, and then you're going to go try to fly acro, and you're actually going to have a harder time learning acro. I promise you. Look, I'm not saying don't put a horizon mode switch, but I would always start off in acro. Start to learn to fly acro. You freak out, flip the switch to horizon. Not a bad idea. Even learning flips and rolls, if you rely on acro to level you out, you're never going to really get the flip or roll. I mean, just do it, man. You're going to crash either way, I promise. Two, when you go to crash and you know you're about to crash or you just crashed, throttle down, disarm, be done with it. While you're learning, do not try to power out of stuff. I see so many guys saying they're smashing things up, and I can only imagine that they're like flat forcing their copter through stuff, or they go to flip over and they freak out and they throttle out trying to do something and end up barreling into a tree or into the ground. When you're new, drop the throttle, kill it, go pick it up. Do not try to take off. You're going to chop a battery, you're going to break a prop, you're going to cut up an ESC. So many things can go bad by just trying to take off after a crash. Go get your copter, look at it. Before you pick up your copter, look around it. Look at the copter. Are you missing your camera? If so, leave your copter where it is and start looking at the relation and determining where that, you got to find it. So many times I've picked my copter up off the ground and walked off and gone, oh snap, where's my camera? And then I forgot which tree I found it by, and it took me an hour to find the camera. Don't do it. Anyways, back to upgrading. Upgrading equipment does not make you a better pilot. Don't get on the hype. Don't worry about upgrading firmware. The firmware that came on your copter works fine for teaching you how to fly. Once you feel like you've maxed out and, dude, you're flying that thing like nobody's business, then yes, one-shot, multi-shot, firmwares, all that stuff can come into play. Those things, again, they don't determine how easy it is to fly your copter. I promise you, at least not to an inexperienced user, you're not going to tell the difference. What you are going to do is you're going to start flipping around firmware and switching ESCs and moving stuff, and you're going to mess stuff up, and then you're going to get frustrated and then throw it away or try to sell it. I see so many guys in this industry come into the hobby, and by day 3, they're asking about all kinds of new stuff and parts and things that I've been doing this for a year and a half and I haven't even thought about. So my advice, slow work it. Don't worry about what other people are doing. I flew CC3Ds for all the way up until 2 months ago. Everybody, I literally have been made fun of at events, and I mean jokingly in a nice, respectful ways, been made fun of and joked about, and people thought I was crazy. But it worked for me. And look, I'm not the greatest pilot now. I'm getting better every pack. It's all about packs. If you can't make it through a pack without crashing, keep practicing. It's what you got. Unless it's causing you to crash because it's falling out of the sky, just keep flying it. I promise you, you'll get better. That's CheFPV, I don't know, tips 101, all right? Fly safe, fly smart, fly for fun, fly CheFPV. Come check me out, guys. Fly. Peace.